Hello Brick fans, it's me, Ross,
And I'm Joe.
and we're back with BlueBrixx Basics.
And this time architecture.
Exactly, well, part of our architecture. We have lots of different architecture, but this time we've chosen to show you our, what I like to call the flat architecture.
Yes, and that's exactly what he said. When I said to him, we have different castles we could put them. Yeah, but they're not flat. That's what he said.
Exactly, so I wanted the flat ones. As you can see, what I mean here is the flat bases on each one of them, and they're not particularly high. I think the highest thing we here have is St. Mark's Tower in Venice. So they're quite easy to, well, put into a shelf or anything. You don't need lots of space, only size-wise, for the length.
Or on a sideboard, because if you put them in a shelf, that's just storage. That's
Exactly.
not presentation. Why would you do that?
A sideboard's the best option.
For a lot of sets.
All right, let's get into what's so great about. Do you like building architecture sets?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The problem is with architecture sets, with what this set does showcase rather nicely, it looks good, but you got to build it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a lot of one by one plates and tiles and stuff which you put together to create this effect from this really miniature effect with standard sized bricks, which makes them look good, but
it's a lot of work.
Not exactly my cup of tea. Some people find it meditative.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it meditative. I mean, I built this Venice, this exact one here. I did build this, and I will admit, doing all these bricks here, it's a lot of work. It makes your fingers hurt a bit after a while.
Yeah.
But the end result, once you've finally built, let's say, the one wall of photo or the one wall here with windows and everything, it looks great, and you're just so filled with accomplishment that you've done it.
That's true.
So that's what I liked about building this one.
Another nice thing about architecture sets is that oftentimes you do not have any idea whatsoever what you're building. And you just put bricks together, sometimes 100, 150, even 200 steps at a time, and then afterwards you say, now you take this and you rotate it like this and you put it on the thing and it was one of the faces.
And I think it's done in a clever way. I mean, for example, here, I'll lift this up for the detail camera to see, or I won't actually. No, I probably won't.
Which is one of the other problems with architecture sets.
Well, here in the middle where the, little crosses are, the piazza, building that was an interesting experience because obviously it's not straight or like that, it's curved, which made it for a very interesting way of placing it in, which I thought was very cool and very nicely done.
It is. But as Ross inadvertently showed you a few moments ago, that also makes it a little less stable. I mean, if you got something like this, which is an industrial complex, very much known in Germany. It's one of the old coal mines, and it's all neatly rectangular arranged, and it's rather stable. But as soon as you get into weird angles, you need to have a lot of compromises, which are fun to build. And it's really nice to see how the designer achieved trying to recreate all these different ratios, aspects, and angles. But since they are not in the stud patterns,
it's not exactly a pattern that follows a normal shape. I mean, especially well to see in Alcatraz here. If you look at the coastline here, this is all, as a coastline is, not exactly uniform, and it's all bumpy and everything, but it looks really good because the designer thought, how can I let this actually look like the, Alcatraz does, and even with the coastline. And the same goes for the Acropolis with the stones around here. Interesting fact about this Acropolis is that it's obviously built as it was 2,000-3,000 years ago, because that thing isn't standing there anymore like that, which is utterly disappointing when you do go there.
And it's utterly stupid when you realize why it isn't, because it survived up to the 18th century until they decided to store cannon powder in there, gunpowder, and a stray cannonball hit it and blew it up.
Oh, well, I didn't learn that while I was there, but I learned that now.
It's not actually a moment of pride for people to do that.
Fair enough. But, I mean, it looks better, honestly, than it actually does in real life there.
That it is.
Which is a bit of a disappointment, like I said, when you're there. But I think that's pretty cool. You can even take the Acropolis off to make it look more realistically what it looks like today.
Yeah, but if you do it, it shows you nicely how you can achieve the certain angles. I mean, let me just put it like this. It's at an angle as it is, but as you can see, to achieve that angle, it's just slotted in there. I mean, you can see the bricks, and then you just put it there, and you achieve that angle.
Which is clever.
Is clever and nice, but not stable.
It's not stable, but let's face it, it's not a thing to be moved around a lot.
Nah.
So the way that it's made and done is incredibly clever, which is something you can say for all architecture sets. And they also have fun little gimmicks, like where you can pull out this and see the, well, plenary seating hall in the German Bundestag, which I find very cool, because where else would you expect that? Because you've just got this, and then you can just easily slot it in, and it hides away like that. So very, very clever things in all these sets, even if they're this small and intricately built. Piece-wise, I think they all have around about 3,500 pieces. This one does, and this one does, certainly.
This one has a little bit less, and I think this one has 2.5, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. So
it's been a while since I built that.
So you're up with quite a few pieces here, which does keep the building process engaging and fun, and it's not over quickly. I mean, you built this Alcatraz one.
Yes.
It looks quite fiddly, especially with all these plant pieces on. I'm not a big fan of building with plant pieces.
I've built worse.
Okay. You mean the castle?
I mean the castle. If you want to, write down the comment and we can show you different architecture-sized castles in comparison, because they're rather nice as well. But they're not flat, which means they don't count in his opinion for this video.
They count, but not in this video.
I mean, you can see the coastline, which has been recreated, and a lot of interesting things. I mean, here you have the lighthouse. Here you have the water tower. And the way that this entire lighthouse is condensed down to 5 pieces, one by one bricks and what's it called, a ball joint with a bar attached to it, which forms the top. It's just nice and it looks great, I think.
It's all very clever how people have managed, or the designers have managed to create this in such intricate detail. Even the little lion statues here that you've got in Venice, they're cleverly done. I mean, if you've been there, you recognize it immediately, and even St. Mark's Tower here with the little riffles that it actually does have. I will admit I'm not that much of a big fan of the flags here. They're not that great, this Italian flag.
Yeah.
I'm a much, much bigger fan of, for example, the German flags in our Bundestag set here. They're simpler, easier, but they look cooler. I do like them a bit more than those.
It's as usual a matter of taste.
Exactly.
If you like it or not.
I bet you there are people who say they look ugly, but they're great. So it's what people like.
Exactly.
Of course, building these things is fiddly, but that's the fun part of it. They're not exactly beginner-friendly.
No, they're not.
But once you get into building a few things, I think you can probably start off. This was, like I said, the first thing I built when I started at the company. But I did have a bit of brick building experience beforehand. Not as much as others, though. But it's a lot of fun. And what I think about these things is they're all great to display. And they all have a little story. I mean, I've said to you before we started this video, I've been to 4 of these places, and they can be used as a nice holiday memory. They can be used as a more, oh, look, I walked up here and then through there and went around here, and this is what it doesn't look like today. I could do that all. So it's quite an interactive way of showing your holiday, plus memorizing it a bit more.
Yes, and actually got to wonder, how did you do this? And when you do architecture sets, and when you look at architecture sets, you find building techniques that are, well, in some places, in some parts or some models that I built, I was asking, what the hell was the designer smoking to come up with that idea? Because some of them are just so outlandish. There's weird uses for pieces. There is, this one here, for instance, is, if I am correct, it's panels laid down on the side and then stacked on top of each other, then just clamped in there to show this really small step.
I mean, it's so clever, and that's what I like about these architecture sets. The pure cleverness aspect that people have to have come up with designing this, and that's why I like them the most. Architecture sets are hands down my favourite ones to build, because I like seeing the clever aspects in it. Let us know what your favourite sets are to build, if it's also architecture, if it's something completely different. There are people who love building diamond blocks.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think.
If it's something that you like, and don't let other people disparage that. If you like it, that's perfectly fine. If you don't like it, that's also fine.
Yeah, exactly. Bricks have thousands of possibilities, and they're all open to every walks of life and every interest.
Exactly. Yeah.
So go for it.
Yep.
Exactly. And don't forget, you can never have enough bricks.
There will be more.
So have fun building.
And thank you for watching.
And see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I actually like that water tower.
The water tower is very cool.
With binoculars on the bottom.
I mean, they're all great. They all have fantastic little aspects. I do love architecture sets.